Are you a human or just a machine? Welcome to Awaken Wisdom. The truth begins right now. Have you ever stood in the middle of a glowing Times Square, or perhaps just a crowded intersection during rush hour, watching the sea of people surge past and suddenly felt a cold shiver run down your spine? It's not the cold of the weather. It's a faint sensation, a painful realization that it seems as if no one is actually there. The faces passing you by, they might be laughing, talking, or hurriedly sliding fingers across phone screens. But if you are still enough to look deep into their eyes, you will see a vast emptiness. Unconscious footsteps following old, worn-out routes, programmed social greetings, shallow emotions floating on the surface of a reality that is slowly freezing over. We look at them and whisper in our minds the concept of the NPC, soulless background characters, empty entities operating the massive machinery of this world. We comfort ourselves that we are different because, at least, we recognize their presence. But let us stop for a moment. Let me invite you to perform a small and perhaps the most honest experiment of your life. Stop looking out the window. Stop observing the crowd out there. Turn the lens around and look directly at yourself. This morning, when the alarm went off and you reached for your phone out of pure instinct, was that your free choice or a reflex programmed deep within your nervous system? When you feel a rush from a new notification or anger from a stranger's rude comment on the internet, is that truly yourself reacting, or just a piece of defense code installed from past traumas? We live in a society that worships personalization, where everything is designed to make you feel like the center. But the truth is, most of us are operating like complex, sophisticated chemical machines. We consume what we are told to consume, love what we are told to love, and fear what the crowd fears. What if I told you that the darkness doesn't truly lie in those people out there? It lies right in the way you breathe, the way you think, and the way you exist every day. Are you sure you are truly awake in this life? Or are you just an upgraded version of a machine, a puppet dancing and proud of the string? We feel like ghosts in our own lives. We must go back over a century. Meet a man with eyes so piercing they seem to see through every mask of humanity. George Ivanovich Gurdjieff. Gurdjieff was not a philosopher sitting in an ivory tower lecturing on the abstract. He was an explorer of the soul, a man who spent his life seeking the answer to one question. Why do humans live in such blindness and cruelty? The answer he brought back from remote Eastern monasteries shook the Western intellectual world. He didn't use flowery words to soothe our fragile egos. Instead, he delivered the most ruthless and cold verdict imaginable. Man is a machine. Hearing this, you might resist. You might think of your dreams, the love poems you've written, or the important decisions you believe you made. But Gurdjieff would look you in the eye and tell you it is all an illusion. For him, the majority of humanity does not truly live. They are simply being happened. Every action, every thought, every emotion you proudly call your personal identity is actually just a mechanical reaction to external stimuli. You do not act, you react. Imagine your life like a luxurious vintage clockwork watch. You might be an expensive watch with solid gold gears, sparkling diamonds on the dial, and a rhythmic, proud tick. You look in the mirror and tell yourself you are special, that you are in control of your own time. But the harsh reality is that you are only operating based on the tension of a spring that someone or some event in the past wound up for you. When that spring unwinds, you turn. When it runs out of energy, you stop. You have no say in which direction your hands are pointing. You are a loyal slave to that clockwork mechanism, yet you dreamily believe you are the watchmaker. The helplessness of this machine is best shown in how we communicate with the world every day. Observe the mechanism of the slap and the praise. This is the most brutal test of your freedom. When a stranger walks up and gives you a sincere compliment, a flood of euphoric chemicals is immediately released in your brain. You smile, your eyes brighten, and suddenly the world is beautiful. The machine called pride has just been refueled. But imagine immediately after, another person walks up and slaps you across the face, or worse, slaps your honor with a poisonous insult. Instantly, that smile vanishes. In its place is shallow breathing, a racing heart, and a burst of anger like an electromagnetic storm. You did not choose to be angry. That anger rose automatically as software installed to respond to negative stimuli. In both cases, you had no choice. You were just a puppet pulled by someone else's opinion. A few words from a stranger have the power to control your entire internal biochemistry, turning your world from heaven to hell in a single second. If a person can control your emotions with just a few words, you are not the master of yourself. You are a reactive machine, nothing more. We work because we fear poverty. We marry because of social pressure. We argue to defend a belief we've never even verified ourselves. Everything in our lives is a long chain of conditioned reflexes. Gurdjieff argued that the greatest tragedy of man is not that we are machines, but that we are completely unaware of it. We live in a deep sleep, dreaming of freedom while our feet march to programmed rhythms. The void you feel when night falls, the existential anxiety that no material success can erase. It is actually the weak protest of the true human part being strangled beneath those mechanical gears. If the verdict of the machine left you breathless, now is the time to enter the operating room of the soul to understand why we have accepted living in this state of sleep for so long. Why would a creature capable of great thought like a human voluntarily hand over the wheel of life to mindless gears? The answer doesn't lie in a distant dark force. It lies in the way modern society has subtly installed directional code into the deepest layers of our perception. Gurdjieff called this waking sleep. You still wake up, go to work, pay bills, and smile at dinner parties, but your soul has actually left the driver's seat a long time ago. Look at how the education system and media operate like a massive foundry. From the time we were children with endless curiosity, we were taught how to fit in rather than how to be present. We were trained to answer preset questions instead of asking real questions about ourselves. The social system of rewards and punishments has created extremely deep neural grooves in our brains. You study hard for praise, you work hard for recognition, you buy an expensive car to feel like you belong to a certain class. Bit by bit, these codes seep into your blood and bone, turning the desires of the crowd into your own desires. Have you ever wondered what percentage of the goals you are frantically pursuing is actually the will of your soul? Or is it just an algorithm installed by flashy advertising campaigns and parental expectations? Modern media doesn't just sell you products, they sell you a fake identity. They define happiness for you, they define success, and even love. When you scroll through social media late at night, the glowing images and perfect lives of others don't just make you jealous, they silently reinforce the code that you aren't good enough, that you need to run faster on the hamster wheel. This is the self-matrix. A prison without bars, where the prisoner is their own jailer, constantly reminding themselves to follow the rules of a game they don't even remember starting. The loss of self in modern society happens as quietly as a stream erodes a stone. We become experts in playing roles. The role of the filial child, the diligent employee, the ideal partner. We spend so much energy maintaining these masks until we ourselves forget what our real face looks like beneath the mask. Look at your smallest habits, the way you react to a notification, the way you start a conversation with a stranger, or the way you hide sadness behind a forced smile. These are all energy-saving programs of the brain. The brain loves repetition because it's safe. But the soul hungers for freshness and presence. When your life is just a sequence of repetitive actions day after day, your soul begins to fall into a state of paralysis. You no longer feel the magic of an early morning. You no longer vibrate at the sight of a wild flower because your eyes are busy looking at a script already written in your head. American culture and modern culture in general have turned busyness into a badge of honor. We are so busy that we no longer have time to actually live. That busyness is the strongest sleeping pill. It prevents you from stopping and asking, who am I outside of these titles? What do I truly want outside of these possessions? We fear silence because in silence the voice of the soul becomes too loud. We fear facing the void within us, so we fill it with the noise of music, work, and shallow relationships. But you know what? That void is not the enemy. It is a sacred space waiting to be filled by true consciousness. Realizing that you are asleep, that you are being controlled by codes that are not yours, is the first step of rebellion. Don't be afraid when you feel out of place among the rushing crowd. That feeling is a sign that you are beginning to escape the matrix. You are beginning to perform an audit of your soul, filtering out what is false to find the most authentic core. Life is too short to spend being a copy of someone else. It is time we had the courage to look at the cracks in our belief systems. Those cracks are where the light can seep in. So ask yourself in the darkness of your room tonight, if everything you own were stripped away, if all your roles ended, what would remain? That is the starting point of the journey toward awakening that we are about to explore together. If you feel a tightening in your chest as you recognize your own mechanical nature, I want you to take a deep breath. Because the good news is, only a creature with a soul is capable of feeling pain at the sight of emptiness. A true machine would never wonder if it is a machine. The discomfort, the existential anxiety, or the feeling of being lost that you are enduring is a sign that the system is failing. It is a radiant crack on the steel wall of the self-matrix. And it is through that very crack that the light of reality can seep in to wake you up. Gurdjieff did not deliver his verdict for us to despair. He gave it as a death knell for the false ego, to make room for an authentic self to be born. He taught us that awakening is not a miracle falling from the sky, nor is it a drug-like state of meditation removed from reality. Awakening is a silent revolution taking place in every breath, in your smallest actions. And the ultimate weapon he gave us is self-observation. Imagine you are watching a movie about your own life. Instead of being swept away by the dramatic plot, the anger, or the sadness of the main character, you choose to step back. You sit in the audience and observe that character reacting on the screen. This is not indifference, this is pure presence. When someone cuts you off on the highway and anger starts to flare up like a fire, instead of letting that fire burn your reason, gently say to yourself, my machine is starting to get angry. The moment you realize the machine is operating, you are no longer that machine. You have become the observer. In that brief second, the winding string is caught, the gear slips a beat, and a gap of free will appears. That is where your soul truly resides. Gurdjieff called this disidentifying from the machine. Don't try to change the machine immediately. Don't try to become a saint or a perfect person. The only thing you need to do is witness it operating with a deep empathy for yourself. American culture always teaches us to do something, to act, to fix, to win. But in this journey of awakening, the greatest act is stopping. Stopping to see that you are being pulled by strings of desires that are not yours. Stopping to see that you are repeating the words of others. When you begin to observe the smallest habits, from how you hold a coffee cup to how you judge a stranger, you will see the world around you begin to change magically. The most ordinary things, like sunlight through leaves or a child's laughter, suddenly become vivid and meaningful. Because then, you are no longer looking at the world through the lens of old prejudices, but with the eyes of someone who has just woken up after 100-year sleep. Awakening is a painful process, because it requires us to give up the safety of habits. It requires us to dare to face the void without the soothing noise of the outside. But on the other side of that pain is a freedom that no kingdom can grant you. It is the freedom to be yourself, to choose your reaction instead of being controlled like a biological slave. My friend, you are not an NPC in someone else's game. You are a spiritual entity having a human experience. Your existential crisis is the call of the universe, inviting you to step out of the ranks of the sleeping to join the tribe of the awakened. Don't fear that crack. Love it. Because as Leonard Cohen once said, the crack is where the light gets in. Start right this moment. As this video is about to end, try to feel your hands, feel the breath entering your lungs, and tell yourself, I am here. I am a drum clock the universe has for you. Do not try to silence it. Let it lead you back to yourself. Before we say goodbye, I have one small request for the truest part of you. Take a deep breath, look at your hands, and ask yourself, am I here or am I just reacting? And be honest with yourself in the comments below. Is there a moment today when you felt truly present, or has it all been a long dream of the machine? Your stories are not just words. They are sparks that help others lost in the dark find the way out. I am your guide on this journey of awakened wisdom, where we strip away the shadows to find existential truth. Thank you for being present here, right now, with all the sincerity of an awakening soul. Never let the tiny flame of self-observation be extinguished by the noise of the world. I will see you in the next chapters of the journey to discover yourself. I wish you a day full of presence and peace. Hello, and see you in the next videos.